The rain fell in heavy sheets that night, drenching the cracked sidewalks of downtown Seattle. The cold air carried a biting sting, pushing people to hurry indoors, searching for warmth and comfort. Yet, standing on the marble steps of the towering Ellington Hotel, a place of glittering chandeliers and polished glass doors, was a young woman named Sarah Monroe. Her clothes were soaked, her shoes muddy, and her small backpack clung to her back as if it were her only possession left in the world. And in truth, it was. She had been turned away from the shelter earlier that evening, told there was no space left, and with nowhere else to go, she had wandered here, staring at the glow of the luxury hotel as though it might swallow her misery whole. But as soon as she stepped near the doors, the guards shifted their stance. Their eyes, sharp and dismissive, measured her from head to toe. She didn't fit the picture of wealth, of privilege, of anyone who belonged inside. She wasn't allowed in. And that was when something happened that would change her life forever. Before I go deeper into this powerful story, let me pause for a second. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the idea that one act of compassion can change the course of someone's life, please make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Hopeful Stories. Your support helps spread hope to those who need it most. Sarah stood there on the steps, her heart racing, not because she expected to be let in, but because she was too exhausted to move. Her lips trembled as the cold seeped into her bones. She could almost see the warmth inside through the glass doors. Families gathered at the restaurant tables, business people sipping wine, laughter floating through chandeliers' golden light. It was a world so far from hers, a world she once thought she might belong to, before life had ripped it all away. She had grown up in a small town in Oregon, the daughter of a mechanic and a school secretary. They didn't have much, but they had love. Her parents died suddenly in a car accident when she was only 19. Sarah's world collapsed. The bills piled up. College slipped out of reach. She moved to Seattle with dreams of rebuilding herself, only to find jobs scarce and rent merciless. Slowly, everything unraveled. By the time she was 23, Sarah had lost the apartment she rented with 3 other roommates, then lost her job at the cafe, then the few friends she had made when she couldn't keep up with their lives. Now, at 25, she was utterly alone, surviving day to day. And yet, here she was, standing outside one of the most expensive hotels in the city, feeling like she was staring at a parallel universe she could never touch. When the guard finally barked, "Move along, miss. This isn't a place for you," her chest tightened. She didn't argue. She couldn't. She simply lowered her head, clutching her backpack straps, and stepped down the stairs. But before she could walk in the storm again, a black luxury car pulled up. Out of it stepped a man tall, striking, and commanding, his presence impossible to ignore. His tailored suit glistened under the raindrops, and the guards instantly stiffened, bowing their heads. It was William Ellington himself, the Billionaire hotel owner, a man whose face graced magazines, a man rumored to be untouchable, cold, and ruthless in business. Yet instead of striding inside, William paused. His gaze shifted, landing on Sarah, the drenched young woman being shooed away as if she were nothing. For a moment, time froze. Everyone else looked at him, expecting him to ignore her. But then, to the shock of the guards, William Ellington stepped out of the glowing circle of light, walked down the stairs into the pouring rain, and approached Sarah. His polished shoes splashed in puddles as he closed the distance. Sarah froze. Her throat tightened. No one had looked at her like that in months. With curiosity, with recognition that she was human. William tilted his head, studying her face. And then, in a voice that was calm but carried an unshakable authority, he told the guards, "She's with me." That single sentence rewrote the night. The guard shifted, embarrassed, but obeyed. Sarah blinked, unsure if she had heard correctly. William placed a hand gently at her back, guiding her not just inside the hotel, but into a world she thought she had lost forever. The warmth of the lobby wrapped around her, the scent of polished wood and lavender filling her senses. Her legs trembled as though they might give way. For the first time in months, she felt safe. William didn't know why he had done it. Perhaps it was the look in her eyes, something raw, something familiar. He had grown up poor himself before building his empire from scratch. People assumed he was always wealthy, but they didn't know the hungry nights, the humiliation, the struggles. And in Sarah's trembling posture, he saw a reflection of the boy he once was. That night, instead of brushing her aside, he arranged for her to have a warm meal in the hotel restaurant and a clean room upstairs. Sarah wept quietly as she ate, her hands shaking, overwhelmed by the sudden shift from despair to comfort. The bed she collapsed into afterward felt like heaven, and for the first time in years, she slept without fear of being cold or unsafe. But Sarah's story didn't change overnight. William wasn't offering charity. He was offering a chance. The next morning, he asked her about her life, about what had happened. She spoke haltingly, ashamed, but he listened without judgment. And then he asked her what she wanted most. Her answer surprised him. She didn't ask for money, or clothes, or a place to stay permanently. She whispered, "I just want to work. I want to feel useful again." Those words struck William. He arranged for her to begin working at the hotel in housekeeping. It was hard work, scrubbing floors, changing sheets, carrying supplies, but Sarah embraced it with quiet determination. The staff noticed her humility, her willingness to learn, and slowly she began to regain something she thought she had lost forever, her dignity. Weeks turned into months. William occasionally checked in, though from a distance, respecting her journey. Sarah saved her paychecks, bit by bit, until she could afford new clothes and a small room outside of the hotel. She began taking evening classes in hospitality management, using the library after her shifts. Each step forward felt like a mountain climbed, but she kept moving. And through it all, the memory of that night, when the billionaire had stepped into the rain to welcome her, never left her. A year later, the hotel held a grand charity gala in the very ballroom Sarah once thought she would never even glimpse. She wasn't a guest, of course. She was part of the staff, arranging flowers and setting tables. Yet as she worked, she saw William across the room, surrounded by dignitaries and wealthy patrons. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't pity. It wasn't obligation. It was respect, earned, not given. That night, when William spoke to the crowd about giving back, about never forgetting where you came from, Sarah's eyes filled with tears, because she knew he wasn't speaking from theory. He had lived it. And because of him, she was living again too. Life wasn't perfect for Sarah. She still struggled. She still carried scars. But she was no longer invisible. She had become part of something bigger. She had found her footing. And it all began the night she wasn't allowed inside. Until one man, against all expectations, stepped out to welcome her. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Hopeful Stories. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope, resilience, and kindness alive. And before we end, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you believe one act of kindness can truly change a life? Share your thoughts below, because Sarah's story is proof it absolutely can.